Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jaime Gloria. I am the Science and Social Studies Director for Eagle Pass Independent School District. Okay, and today we are here to start a presentation with having to do with stargazing. Okay, good morning, ma'am. Here today with me to assist me is Ms. Guzman. She's an 8th grade science teacher from Eagle Pass Junior High. Mr. Cesar Picasso, he is from Radar Elementary, 5th grade science teacher. Ms. Rebecca Rosas, she is from San Luis Elementary, 5th grade science teacher. And Ms. Ruth Jimenez is from Rosita Valley Elementary. Okay. This session is been put together because we started doing stargazing at Eagle Pass Junior High way back. I think the first session that I ever did, I worked at EPJ for 23 years before moving to San Luis for 2 years, and now to the location that I'm at Central Office. And so we started doing stargazing more frequently at Eagle Pass Junior High. And there at Eagle Pass Junior High, it's a combination of a lot of staff supporting the effort to do the stargazing events. And when I say stargazing events, it's an event that we come out with our telescopes. We take out the telescopes, we bring the kids out in the evening, and we point the telescopes to different heavenly bodies such as the moon and Jupiter and Saturn. Okay, and they are visible from Eagle Pass and from planet Earth. To a certain degree, they are visible. But along with us, we have a lot of staff that supports us. In Eagle Pass Junior High, our instructional aides are a big part of doing this activity at night, because they're the support that takes place with this function. Okay, and so all the teachers get involved within the science department, the 7th grade teachers and the 8th grade teachers and the instructional aides that assist us, and not to mention the help that we get from the custodians, security, and it just involves a lot of people. And it has become a community event that we do. Usually it takes twice a year that we do this event. This year, Mr. Picasso and Ms. Jimenez and Ms. Guzman, we have an organization here in Eagle Pass called the Education Foundation, and so they wrote up a grant. And so they were awarded a grant, a $500 grant each one, based on the fact that they were going to do a stargazing event. So now we have 3 elementaries and the junior high starting to do this, okay? And so we hope that here in the near future, they will assist me to going to other campuses and getting this activity going with them at other places, okay? But I would like for Ms. Guzman to share some of the information that she has and some of the experiences that she has had in the past.
Okay, well, good morning. My name is Leti Guzman. I'm a teacher at Eagle Pass Junior High, 8th grade, like Mr. Gloria said. Just a little correction for the education foundation grant. I actually received $1,000, and hopefully that will enable us to get 3 to 4 telescopes. We are in the process of organizing this particular event. Like I said, we are going to have our teacher aides involved, our administrators, superintendent comes in. I do have a couple of pictures that I want to share with you guys from the last stargazing party that we had. But basically, the first thing that I want to say is it is a team effort. If we don't come together and do it as a whole, I can't do it by myself. We have about 3 telescopes set up out there. Now with this Education Foundation grant, I hope to have at least 6 telescopes out there, because there's a bunch of, let me pull this down. There's, last year what we did is we had 3 telescopes. Okay, well, we had 3 telescopes going, and there was long lines. So like I said, the reason why I wanted to apply for this particular grant was to get more people out, but at the same time have more students come in and experience everything. We had 1 telescope facing the moon, we had another telescope facing Venus, and the other one was facing Saturn. So they were able to get in line to view these particular orbits, these particular celestial bodies. But not, like I said, now that I want to have more, maybe we can have 2 per planet and we can have shorter lines. I do have it's, okay. I do have, the support for my 7th and my 8th. And what we do there is we bring out the kids and have them experience, first of all, what a telescope is. Some of these kids in the 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade level have never even touched or used a telescope, let alone see through it. So what we try to do is we try to bring them out with their parents, we try to bring in our community, we try to bring in our neighboring elementary schools so that they can come in and experience what our students go through. We also, what we do is we get a lot of help from the other students. For example, kids from NHS, we get students from high school, we get Geoforce kids that come in and volunteer their time to help out these kids. So it's not just, here, let me show you, it's more an in-depth definition and an in-depth experience for them. And what we do the next day is we go in and we elaborate on what we do with them. The Stargazing Party, again, it's just an event that we do, and we want to get them familiar with the telescope, just like we get them familiar with the microscope and all these other tools that they cannot see or they cannot use for whatever reason at elementary. I understand that elementary now is coming in and they're saying, well, let's do this and let's do this. That's helping our kids become more experienced with what we have. And that way they're not, some of them are really amazed and some of them are like, oh, I've done that in San Luis, or oh, I've done that in, and they start mentioning all these elementaries. So I do want to show you that. I'm having a little bit of difficulty right there, but the thing that we do have the kids do, and this is the day before they come out, we have them go into the Apple store and we have them download the Google Sky Map or the Planet Finder. And what that does, I know you can't see it very well, but what that does is it tells you what constellation is out there, what star is out there, what moon, where is it, what position, what planet is out there. A lot of the times what I do with my kids is I tell them, or I ask them, what do you think the difference is between a star and a planet? And they're like, well, ma'am, it's just the light. Well, how can you tell me the difference? And they're just stunned by my reaction. I tell them, if it's a bright light, more than likely it'll be a planet.
No, we couldn't open them.
No.
But it's okay. We'll get it in the second
That's
session.
how you can tell that it's a star. And then they're like, well, how am I going to remember that? And I tell them, well, do you remember the nursery, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? They're like, oh, that's why they tell us. Yes, if it's twinkling, it would be a star. If it's just a bright light, more than likely, it's a planet. Now, we don't get to see all the planets all the time. It just depends on whatever time of the year it is, what season it is, and where the planets are in orbit. So this particular Google Sky Map helps us identify what we have, where do we have it, so we can start looking into our telescopes and point into that direction. It minimizes our time to where, okay, let's put it here. Okay, that's not it. Let's place it over here. So it just minimizes a time. I'll go ahead and work on that picture. That was a picture that I have from last year's Stargazing Party. It was very successful. We also bring in our administration, our superintendent. We bring in our teacher aides, which help us out tremendously. We do the Stargazing as an educational event, but also we do it as a fundraising event where we have tacos and carne asada and all this other stuff. You see people passing by in cars that have no idea, have no kids, and yet they end up stopping by. Why? Because they got that carne asada, they got the smoke going, and they want to see what's going on. So they come in and then they join us for the fun. What we usually do is for the EPJ students, they do bring in their school ID, we let them come in for free. Okay, everybody else is like 50 cents or something like that. We just want to bring kids, parents, students, everybody in that we can. It is a safe event. We do have staff, we have police officers, we have administrators, we have everybody working around the clock. And we're just looking, okay, what do we need to do? We need to make sure. And we're real happy about our Stargazing Party. We've had about 4 or 5 annual Stargazing parties every year, and I hope to continue that as we go. And we're, like I said, right now we're looking into it because we're going into stars, galaxies, and all that good stuff that these kids are real interested, and yet it's so abstract for them. They just don't understand because it's too far away. Other than that,
And the app was the Sky Map?
yes, it's on the board over here.
Oh, okay.
We have the Google Sky Map and we have the Planet Finder. Do you guys have any questions for me? I mean, I know that I'm just talking about the sky gazing party. I know it sounds like a party, all these kids are gonna get wild and crazy. No, they don't. It's more of an educational deal, and we're very close to the kids, and we're on them. I know it's 7th and 8th grade, we have elementary kids coming in from Liberty, from Glass, from Grace, from Efecto Mancha, from some of the kids that come in from Henry Gonzalez and stuff like that, because they have relatives on this side of town, and they just end up going. I have kids coming in from Memorial as well, because our Memorial teachers, since we work very close together with them, I email the department head from Memorial, and I tell them, hey, we're gonna have a stargazing party, have your kids come in. As long as they have their ID, we're fine, let's go. So we start bringing in all these kids all over the place, not just North Side schools, or, no, it's just for EPJ. No, it's for everybody available to come in, especially our community members. So it's just something that you guys can consider coming out, so that you can see how much fun these kids are having.
And you have them when? When do
We
you-
have them once a year. Last year, we were almost gonna have them twice a year, but there's a lot of things that come into effect. We have to look at the weather, we have to make sure that it's not cloudy, we have to make sure that there's no football games, because then these people won't come. Extracurricular activities, I have to make sure everybody's available to come in and work, because it is a huge event. I need everybody's hands-in, full support. And I usually get it, it's just sometimes the football games, track, and the finals, and all this other stuff, they just won't come in.
You know, I've never looked through a telescope myself, just when you go someplace and you go into that thing, right? But to look at the stars or anything, and I was telling my coworker, me and my coworker from Del Rio, we work at Del Rio High School, Carolina Almaguer, and this is Dora Briseño. But I'm telling her that my granddaughter, she's 15 years old, she lives in Glenview, Illinois. And one of my son's friends from Del Rio, my granddaughter was 3 years old, and he sent her a whole telescope thingy. You know, so she's got a big one like that one that's over there.
And these are the ones that we have currently, and I'm ordering 3 more as we speak.
But I've never looked through her telescope. I mean, I go visit my son in Illinois, pero, you know, I've never said, oh, Lily, let me look through your telescope, let's look at the stars or something, because it's not. But today when I was over getting our breakfast, I said, I think I want to go to that stargazing. I had never heard of it.
Heard of it, yes.
And we
It's
don't
an
have it.
amazing event. You just
I
have to
didn't
go
hear
out.
it
You
in
just
Del
have to go
Rio,
out
so I
there
know
and-
we don't have it in Del Rio.
It's an event, and just like you're saying, we're always amazed at how the students react once we bring them out to show them stars. Most kids, and in my experience, most kids, when they get up to 8th grade, have not seen the moon through binoculars or through a telescope. So the image of the moon is just what we see at night. But when you bring them with a telescope of this magnitude, then it becomes live, because you can see the craters on them, you can see the edges of the mountains. When we see Jupiter, we can see the different colors of arrays within the planet. When we look at Saturn, we can actually see the rings around it. So, you know, when I ask them, or when they ask them to come out, it's an opportunity of a lifetime, because unless they take an astronomy class later on in high school or in college, the chances of them personally going to like McDonald Observatory in Alpine, where they have multiple telescopes that their guests can use to see the planets, that's the only time that they're going to see it. Okay, and unless they buy themselves one, that's the ones that are going to see it.
And I think I heard about that, about the observatory, like in the middle school. I think one time they took them like on a field trip there. And I imagine that's what they took them for, because it was an overnight trip.
Correct.
So-
Right.
And that they have the class, I have never heard there in Del Rio that they have a class.
And this is something that our teachers are going above and beyond the regular duties at school, because they do have to plan it. It takes, like Mrs. Mang was saying, we look at the calendar of the events that are taking place. We actually start spotting the weather a week before. We constantly are checking the weather, and we actually go into the news and we use the weather map, and we use AccuWeather to determine if we're going to have clear skies, because that's the number one thing, we have to clear skies. We also we also
You know, to a child,
yes.
happens in our school, you know.
to a child, you say it's something that they've never seen. Well, hey, I'm already
You're
58 years
excited.
old, I've never looked through a telescope.
If you leave us your email, we're more than welcome to.
I will.
Yeah, we'll go around. Go to Ms. Guzman. She can't download the pictures she has
It
over
was
there.
my first time looking through a telescope, and I was so excited. I told Mr. Gloria, I've never seen through a telescope. And I saw it as that Saturn, that was Venus, and I was like a little girl, I was trying to push the kids away. I wanted to see it.
¿Cómo hacen ahí en la IPJ?
Lo hacemos aquí en la UPJ en la
Y
escuela.
ustedes nunca avisan, mandan.
Sí,
avisan?
sí.
Sí.
Este año no lo hemos tenido todavía, pero el año pasado, es que es una cosa que hacemos, lo estamos viendo, we're looking at the weather about a week, y de un día al otro podemos decir, y no se va a poder hacer porque it's cloudy. Once it's cloudy, we won't be able to see it. And it has to also be a certain type of moon phase. If it's full moon, I understand that it's too much light, we won't see it. If it's new moon, it's not enough light, so we won't be able to see it. It has to be in the quarter moons. So what we do is we try to make sure that it's in the quarter moons, que haya suficiente luz, pero no tanta, no mucha. And then the weather, it has a lot to do with it. So we can do from one day to the next. I remember this last one, we did it from Monday. We're like, what do you think, guys? Can we do this? Everybody's, yes, let's do it. Okay, we're doing it tomorrow.
Bueno, entonces puede ser cualquier día, no
Puede
es
ser
el fin de
cualquier día.
semana ni.
No.
ni puede
Tratamos
These
de
are
hacerlo
shortcuts
durante la
to-
semana.
to something.
Para tratar
Okay.
de,
en la tarde.
en las tardes, ya en la noche.
Ah,
Y como ahorita está oscureciendo un poquito más temprano,
Ajá.
está perfecto.
ok, entonces sí avisan, sí,
Sí,
mandan.
sí.
Ok,
We
para
do
saber.
parent, we do announcements, we do flyers, we do everything, yes.
Bueno, el año pasado, ¿en qué fechas se acuerda usted que lo hicieron?
Fue
It
en
was-
febrero,
it was about
en
February.
febrero, los últimos de febrero, los primeros de marzo.
Oh.
Okay. También es entre más frío esté el clima,
Es mejor.
también hay menos
Yes.
pollution en el air, so se mira más claro, okay. Pero les voy a decir que es un evento muy significante porque ha habido veces que, por ejemplo, ahorita presente en este día. Esta noche me estaba platicando con Mr. Picasso el domingo. El domingo me salí con el telescopio para afuera de mi casa y estaba viendo a Júpiter, entonces le mandé un mensaje. Y comencé a tomar mensajes con él, ¿verdad? Entonces lo que ocurre es de que llega a un punto donde te da mucho, te comienzas a pensar por qué, cómo están las cosas como son, ¿no? La curiosidad. Y me tocó la oportunidad de que estaba viendo Júpiter y Júpiter ahorita tiene 4 de las lunas en línea. Entonces me comunicó, me dijo, Mr. Gloria, también si miras hacia el sur, entonces está Mercury, Venus, Mars y Uranus, también están en línea los planetas ahorita en este tiempo, ¿verdad? Están alineados.
Y Uranus y Neptuno no se pueden ver porque están más lejos. Pero si ve uno hacia donde está la bandera de piedras, ahí se puede ver, se va a ver bien brillante como está viendo en los hombres. Ese va a ser Venus y lo hacia la derecha, o sea, uno lo puede ver con el puro ojo. O sea, a la derecha se mira bien chiquito, va a ser Mercurio, y luego más arriba se ve un poquito rojo, eso va a ser Marte. Y a los otros dos planetas no se ven porque están al final del sistema solar.
Y si miras hacia San Antonio, a eso de las 8 de la noche, comenzando a las 8, bajito subiendo el horizon, cerca de la Tierra, entonces en la más brillosa, that's Júpiter, ese es Júpiter, ¿ok? Y entonces, pasa algo y nos comunicamos y ellos tienen los telescopios también para usarlos, ¿verdad? Y entonces llega un punto, me ha tocado con un estudiante que estábamos viendo a Saturn y vino el estudiante y me vio y dijo, "Ay, no, Mr. Gloria, no es cierto". Le digo, sí es cierto. Bueno, le cambió atención a la luna. Lo apunté y se lo puse en la luna. Con estos blancos, los grandes, la luna es hermosa. Y se mira bien grande, bien claro, ¿verdad? Y me dijo, no es cierto, así no se mira la luna. La estoy viendo, pero no la está viendo. Entonces él va por enfrente del scope y aquí enfrente le mete la mano para adentro. Y le dije, no, no toques el lens, ¿qué estás haciendo? Dijo, estoy buscando dónde pusiste ese retrato. Le dije, ¿cuál retrato? Tú pusiste un retrato aquí. Le dije, no puse un retrato, no hay nada ahí. La maravilla, ese estudiante, la curiosity, we got him right there. La curiosity, okay? Y conozco estudiantes de que han llegado a high school y han regresado y me dicen, I'm going to go study astrophysics. I'm going to study engineering, space engineering. Y es el interés que brotó de un instante, uno de 2,000, 3,000, pero algo les tomó. Y ellos van y compran telescopios. Tenemos estudiantes que van y compran telescopios y las noches que salimos dicen, ¿los puedo traer para que me enseñes cómo? Sí. And they'll go buy, porque yo he usado telescopes de $89 como los que venden en las tiendas, and I can see Jupiter and Saturn con ellos. La cosa es enseñarle a los niños cómo los encuentren y cuándo los pueden ver, ¿verdad? Entonces ya de ahí ellos van desarrollando esos eventos. Tuvimos ese es un evento. Go ahead, Miss.
This was the one from last year.
Ese es el del año pasado.
This is stargazing party last year. We have, like I said, we have 3 telescopes set up. Mr. Gloria's here. I have a teacher, science 8th grade teacher here, and I have a 7th grade teacher here. We even go out and bring our mascot out. We all have these little lab coats, the tie-dye lab coats. So we bring out our eagle, we're eagles, and we put little goggles on him. We put those little tie-dye lab coats, and he's out there running around, taking pictures with everybody. But these are the lines that we're looking at. And this was early during the day, right? As soon as we started. That's why I want to see maybe we can do maybe 6 and keep going from there. I believe this is Ms. Mata, right here. Right there. But this is what we're looking at. And it's a lot of curiosity that these kids have, and we just want to fill that curiosity. They're so excited to come into science, and they're just asking so many questions. Some of them, don't get me wrong, they get way off topic and aliens and do we have people out there and yes. I tend to entertain them, and I ask them, well, look at how big we are. We're going to show you a video right now on the sizes of the planets compared to other stars that we've seen or that they have discovered throughout our galaxies. And I tell them, look at it. Look at how small we are compared to everything that's been discovered so far, and we haven't discovered everything yet. Do you think that we're actually the only ones? So then they start thinking, and they're quiet. So then their curiosity starts running. And we just start from there. Space to them is amazing. It's something that's curiosity, and they want to fill all that curiosity. They have a bunch of questions. We try, and I tell them, we don't know everything. Even the scientists don't know everything. But what we do know, we will answer for them. Okay? I don't know.
Mr. Picasso tuvo una experiencia, he had an experience because when he received his telescopes, and this is one from his school, he had to put it together, and he came out one night with me, and we used the big one, and so just oriented him, and so he took it home on one evening so that he could start working with it, and he had family come over. And so these were adults and kids that were coming over to visit him. And he was telling me some of the stories. Do you want to share anything that the adults came with you?
Actually, one of my nieces had a party, so they had it at the house. And I told her, we all want to see the moon. And these were older people, like around 65, 70. And that's when, well, this is a telescope, and I got my little brother-in-law. And we're looking at the stars, at the moon. At that time, it was in crescent moon. And I had them come and they were looking at the moon, and they were asking, why is it that the planets are there? Why is it? And they were talking in Spanish. ¿Por qué no se van? ¿Por qué nomás se quedan ahí? Les expliqué, tiene que ver con la gravedad del Sol, la está deteniendo, y tiene que ver con la rotación de cada planeta. I mean, if it rotates, the planets rotate really fast, they'll just go off into outer space. If they go really slow, the gravity of the sun is going to pull them in. And they were like looking at the stars, and they were like, ¿están bien cerca las estrellas? Le dije, no, le dije, tan bien lejos, it's a light year. Y luego me dijeron, ¿qué es un light year? Le dije, pues cada light year son 5.8 trillion miles away. So it's really far away. And they were like, ¿cuándo se ve el sol? ¿Cuándo se puede pagar? Le dije, sí, pues en 5 billones de años ya no vamos a estar aquí. And they were just asking stuff, and and wondering, and where's the next closest star, and how far they are. But they get really curious about that because they don't know. And then they saw the moon and they were looking at the craters and the mountains and they're all excited. They get really excited. And we're talking to older people. So imagine the little ones. And then the thing I was telling them is that they expect when they look through a telescope, they expect to see something really big, like the planets. And now you're going to see something like a little dot, but you can actually see the colors. And like in Jupiter, when you look at it right now, you can see the colors and then you can see the eye. But then you see 4 things that are bright, and those are 4 of the moons that they have. And there's like 62 plus moons, so it's only 4. But they get really excited.
Y con la historia que va con Mr. Picasso, in most cases, people believe that the stars are between the planets. And there are no stars between the planets. Except one, which is our sun. So we have the sun, our planets, and then the closest star to us is very, very far away by itself. And then beyond that are the other stars. So there's no star close to us at all, except for the sun. Okay? But there are no stars between the planets. Now, the other thing that occurs is that our sun is a medium-sized star. Medium-sized. So we have stars that are smaller than our sun, and then we have stars that we call the giants and the supergiants, which are very big. And the reason that we can see the stars at night is because of their size and how bright they are. So we wanted to share a smart clip with you so that we can show you the sizes of the stars as how we teach the kids that our star is medium sized and it's relatively small compared to what's out there. Okay. Hablando de cuando oye una expresión que no hacemos nada, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Pero comparado para lo que existe en el cielo, en el universo, por decir, a lot. There's a lot out there, a lot for us to learn. one of the things that amazes me is since 1995 I have been coming out and using the telescopes on and off, and I bring them home and to get them ready and fix them, adjust them, clean them, get them ready. And I want to tell you that I have seen in Orion, I have seen there's a nebula in Orion, and since '95 I maybe seen it like 5 times because it's very hard to find it. And this past weekend I found it, and I was talking to Mr. Picasso, and I think I got it. I got it because in the telescope I just see a little cloud. I see a cloud in space where there's no, it's a nebula is a cloud in space where stars were formed. This is where stars are born, okay? So I got it, and I could see 3 stars inside of it, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top, and then the one on the top, I could distinctly see 2 dots located next to it. And my eyes are getting old, and I'm out there, and so I say, is it or no? And I text him and said, stand by, my eyes are old, let me verify that this is it. So then I walked across the street and I go call Angel, my neighbor. And Angel is a senior at high school right now, and he comes out, what's up, Mr. Gloria? I need your eyes, come on. So he comes out, and I say, okay, sit down and tell me what you see. And he describes it. And then he goes, well, that's the thing, Mr. Gloria, that's the nebula. Yes, Angel, that's what we're looking at. But tell me about the star on the top. You mean the one with the 2 little lights next to him? He says, see. And that's what it looks like, sir. Wait, let me show you a picture. So he gets out his phone and he Googles it right there and then, and he finds it. He said, mira, this is what we're looking at. And he see, and the power of that, okay? And that was, but let me tell you what, whenever I take my telescopes out at home, I take them out to my driveway, I get kids coming in. The neighbors' kids and the neighbors' grandchildren, they come in. The neighbors come over because they want to see what's going on. And it's a tool. It's a very powerful tool to teach with that. Okay, and I had an experience yesterday that I want to share with you. Ms. Baca, Chris is a senior this year.
She's a junior.
She's a junior. So that's 3 years, and 2 is 5. Oh my God, I had it for 5 years. Oh wow. And I had Crystal was my student when I had her in 8th grade, and she's now a junior in high school. Okay. In one of my astronomy classes, that particular year that Crystal was with us, I received this gift from a student. And by the way, this is Bob. Okay. No. This is Bob.
Oh, that's Bob.
That's Junior. Okay, so I received this gift, and I would hang him from the Promethean board, and he was there, and before you knew it, I had kids bringing in clothes for him, and they would dress him up. So he became very, very famous. And actually, when we were doing the astronomy night classes, he was out there because they were taking pictures with him. So one day I have Krista come in and says, Mr. Gloria, I have a surprise for you. But I'm going to let you borrow it, but you can't have it. Okay. So he says, but I need you to walk with me. And so, well, just go get it, mija. I go, no, you don't understand. I need you to walk with me. So we go downstairs, and so we go to the library, and she has Junior. Okay. So the kids name him Bob, and the kids name them Junior. Okay. So we bring up Junior, and he becomes part of the class, and before you know it, he's wearing my lab coat. Okay. Anyway, so they would relate to them, because when you teach the kids, the first thing they ask you is there aliens? And that's the fascination with that. And so
what happened that my husband was at Roswell Station. He's a border patrol agent, and he had gone to the library because I work at the library. He goes, I'm looking for this video about aliens. It's Roswell and da-da-da. I'm like, oh, we don't have it. That's too old and da-da-da. So I called my husband. I said, is there any alien stories out there? He says, you know what? There is a couple. Let me go check it out. He found me a VHS video. He goes, that's all I could find, and it's attached this little alien doll with it. And I said, just send it to me. So he brought it to me, and I gave it to Mr. Gloria, And that's how it started with the aliens, because my husband was stationed there for a while. So and then later we brought Junior along.
So
With one of my little
He
girls.
brought the aliens from Roswell.
from Roswell. Actually, they're from Roswell. They're really from Roswell.
Where aliens come from.
And they're real. They're right here. That's it. So we discovered them. Anyway, so I wanted to share this story porque Krista goes, Mr. Glenn, but I really would like to have Junior back. I said, yes, mijan. As soon as we're done with it, yes. Well, that was 5 years ago. So last night, yesterday we set up, and last night I went home, and I go, I need to get Bob out. So I went to my closet, and he's laying there. He has a special place in my house, okay, right there in the closet. So when I'm bringing him down, Stanley Jr. and I go, oh my God, I never gave it back to Krista. And I started to make, this has been like 4 or 5 years. So last night I called Ms. Baca and I said, you know what, I need to apologize and I need to ask for a favor. I need to borrow Junior, but you have it, Mr. But it became that. It becomes part of your classroom. Anything that you do with the kids to incite that interest, they will come. Because let me tell you, I've brought them at 5:30 in the morning to use the telescopes, and they will come. Okay, depending what you tell them what you're going to show, they will come at 5:30 in the morning. So they're very flexible. The interest is there. Okay, and that's something that we want to generate, and has now started through Mr. Picasso, and it's going to happen through Ms. Rosa, it's going to happen through Ms. Jimenez, and others that are going to come this direction. Okay, Ms.
I do have a picture I want to show. I know it's kind of funny about the aliens and Bob Jr. and stuff. What we did as a fundraiser is it was Mr. Gloria's idea to begin with. I didn't want anything to do with it because I thought it's not gonna happen. He said, let's bring Bob out and let's have the kids take pictures. We charge 50 cents a quarter, whatever. It's like, sir, it's not gonna happen. Nobody's gonna pay to take a picture with Bob or Bob Jr. Well, to my amazement, there was lines upon lines upon lines for the kids to take pictures with Bob. I do have a picture of my own. I thought I wasn't gonna do it. But I have a picture. This is me and my 3 kids. That was about 3 years ago, because right now my daughter is in 2nd grade. This little tornado right here, he is in pre-kinder and she's in kinder. At this point, these 2 are not in school. This had to have been like 3 years ago. But I show these to the kids now and they're like, ma'am, who's that? Oh, and we think about it, oh, Bob's not here. Bob's with Mr. Gloria. And he took Bob with him. But he was part of the classroom. He would take attendance, Bob. Oh, and the kids were like, oh, he's up there, okay. And yeah, like Mr. Gloria said, the kids would bring in clothes for him, baby clothes. They actually started bringing clothes for this big one. I don't know if they didn't fit or it did fit. We just decided to make him, I guess, more scientific-ish, and he put the lab coat on there. But Bob was part of the EPJ Science Department for a very long time. He was our sub-mascot, I guess, if you will. But it was good. It was interesting. Hopefully this year, when Mr. Gloria comes back and helps us for our stargazing party, we'll bring back Bob, and we'll have the eagle, our mascot, and Bob to come back and help us out.
Well, he's gonna have to tell Krista he needs to borrow Bob.
Yes.
I have to borrow. Let's see.
I totally forgot about it.
Do you have any questions pertaining to the subject of astronomy that we can answer? Any curiosity? Because every question is valid. The kids will ask everything, and we try to answer the best we can with that. Any questions on anything that you've been doubting or questioning? ¿Por qué está ahí? Or why is it the way it is? Or that we can answer for you? There is.
No, there's actually one more video that if you guys would give us the time, we want to go ahead and show you. It's a little bit longer than the one that we just showed you, but it gives you an idea of the comparison, the relative size that we have. This video, and I always tell my kids, because they look at the parentheses, ma'am, 1977, ma'am. Yes. We've looked and we've searched for other videos, but they're not as good as this one. Yes, it's a little bit old, but it's the best one that we have. And this is called The Powers of 10.
The picnic near the lakeside in Chicago was the start of a lazy afternoon, early one October. We begin with a scene 1 meter wide, which we view from just 1 meter away. Now every 10 seconds we will look from 10 times farther away, and our field of view will be 10 times wider. This square is 10 meters wide, and in 10 seconds the next square will be 10 times as wide. Our picture will center on the picnickers, even after they've been lost to sight. 100 meters wide. The distance a man can run in 10 seconds. Cars crowd the highway. Powerboats lie at their docks. The colorful bleachers are Soldiers Field. This square is 1 kilometer wide, 1,000 meters. The distance a racing car can travel in 10 seconds. We see the great city on the lake shore. 10 to the 4th meters, 10 kilometers. The distance a supersonic airplane can travel in 10 seconds. We see first the rounded end of Lake Michigan, then the whole Great Lake. 10 to the 5th meters. The distance an orbiting satellite covers in 10 seconds. Long parades of clouds. The day's weather in the Middle West. 10 to the 6th, a 1 with 6 zeros, 1,000,000 meters. Soon the Earth will show as a solid sphere. We are able to see the whole Earth now, just over a minute along the journey. The Earth diminishes into the distance, but those background stars are so much farther away that they do not yet appear to move. A line extends at the true speed of light. In 1 second, it half crosses the tilted orbit of the moon. Now we mark a small part of the path in which the Earth moves about the Sun. Now the orbital paths of the neighbor planets, Venus and Mars, then Mercury. Entering our field of view is the glowing center of our solar system, the Sun, followed by the massive outer planets, swinging wide in their big orbits. That our orbit belongs to Pluto. A fringe of a myriad comets too faint to see completes the solar system. Ten to the 14th. As the solar system shrinks to one bright point in the distance, our sun is plainly now only one among the stars. Looking back from here, we note 4 southern constellations, still much as they appear from the far side of the Earth. This square is 10 to the 16th meters, 1 light year, not yet out to the next star. Our last 10-second step took us 10 light years further. The next will be 100. Our perspective changes so much in each step now that even the background stars will appear to converge. At last we pass the bright star Arcturus and some stars of the Dipper. Normal but quite unfamiliar stars and clouds of gas surround us as we traverse the Milky Way galaxy. Giant steps carry us into the outskirts of the galaxy. And as we pull away, we begin to see the great flat spiral facing us. The time and path we chose to leave Chicago has brought us out of the galaxy along a course nearly perpendicular to its disk. The 2 little satellite galaxies of our own are the Clouds of Magellan. 10 to the 22nd power, 1,000,000 light years. Groups of galaxies bring a new level of structure to the scene. Glowing points are no longer single stars, but whole galaxies of stars seen as one. We pass the big Virgo cluster of galaxies among many others, 100 million light years out. As we approach the limit of our vision, we pause to start back home. This lonely scene, the galaxies like dust, is what most of space looks like. This emptiness is normal. The richness of our own neighborhood is the exception. The trip back to the picnic on the lakefront will be a sped-up version, reducing the distance to the Earth's surface by 1 power of 10 every 2 seconds. In each 2 seconds, we'll appear to cover 90% of the remaining distance back to Earth. Notice the alternation between great activity and relative inactivity, a rhythm that will continue all the way into our next goal, a proton in the nucleus of a carbon atom beneath the skin on the hand of the sleeping man at the picnic. 9th meters, 10 to the 8th, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are back at our starting point. We slow up at 1 meter, 10 to the 0 power.
Ms. Guzman.
Now we reduce the distance to our final depth.
Okay, we're gonna stop it there because from there it goes into the skin, all the way into the molecular level on the nucleus of the cells. So once we get into the human body system and we get into plant animal cells and all that stuff, that's where we start off from that particular point on.
It is a huge thing. So we start with the kids in the elementary going from Earth to the moon, to the solar system, and then they get to junior high, and then we start looking at galaxies, and we start looking at nebulas and cluster of galaxies, and we start looking at the sizes of the stars, and it keeps growing. And as you go to high school, it becomes even a larger science to study, okay? Our purpose and our mission is to bring the kids in, to allow them to experience this, and we want to bring in the parents. We want to bring, because we will tell them, you know, bring your little brother, bring your little sister, because we know that even if we do it at the 8th grade level, and we have 6th grade kids or 3rd grade kids or 2nd grade kids, because when we do set up the telescopes, we actually bring them we have one that's very low, because we have kids that are this size that want to see through them. Okay, so we adjust, because anything that we do even from this level is going to have an effect at the lower grades levels. Okay, we want to thank you for coming. We want to thank you for joining us today.